Ming fell asleep quickly, but Volcano wouldn't catch a wink tonight. She sat in silent vigil under the front door, both wishing Horizon would finally knock on it, and praying he never would. And when he came, he knocked quietly, as if he both wished to wake her up and hoped that he wouldn't. "I'm here," she said to make sure he didn't leave. "I know. I can feel it." He had knocked on this door countless times after Shiver's death. Every day, every other hour, he was here, knocking. If Volcano was by the door, he'd sit down on the other side, because he knew that she needed to not be alone, even if she had no strength to talk. And if the wood gave a hollow sound, he knew she was fine for a moment, and that he could go for an hour or two. She loved him more than anyone else. Almost. There was just one single thing above their friendship, and it was Ming. He could ask for anything, Volcano's own life included, and she'd give it to him in a second. But she could not give Ming. Horizon. Don't. They won't divide us, Volcano. It won't happen. I feel like... You can't give them Ming. I'd never want you to do that. Please. It was just a reaction, a first thought. I'm sorry. What happened? What is happening? Neither of them had an answer to that question. I've talked to Idyll and Zenith, Horizon said quietly. We wondered. These people come from a different culture. It could be something innocent, something we simply don't understand. We know so little about the world outside of Wreath, he said. Then, after a long pause, Volcano. She grabbed the door handle and pulled herself up. Volcano, you always had good instincts. Tell me your gut says it's actually all good. She opened the door. Horizon sat by the threshold, leaning against the niche wall. He looked up at her, and she wanted to tell him what he asked to hear. But she couldn't. It doesn't. Get up. We're going to Quarantine City. Why would we go there? Look around. There are armed strangers everywhere. Guards, patrolling our towns. She waved her arms around. And they took our ships. We can't even reach the Shaws anymore on our own to find our children. That doesn't mean... Horizon, we have nowhere to go. They control the path to the desert. We can't even escape there. And if they want our children, they can probably just take them. We have to go talk to them. Find out what they want, why they are doing this. Should we get others? What for? They have guns, we have nothing. It doesn't matter if it's 2 of us or 20. Perhaps better if it's only 2. We have to try and talk to them. Find out why they've taken the kids and then get them back. Horizon cleared his throat and coughed as the dust aggravated his lungs. It was thicker in the dead of night. In the sparse light of the outdoor lanterns and stars that managed to breach the veil, they could see the grey wisps circling the slate spherical roofs of Belenian houses, drifting up and down, tugged by the gentle breeze. They reached the path leading through a narrow pass between the rock formations, which created a natural barrier between the inhabited part of the Wreath and the desert. The small luminescent pillars driven into the ground alongside the road to the Quarantine City guided them like stars did sailing ships. The dawn was near. The outline of the settlement soon appeared in the distance, and with it the silhouettes of guards patrolling the area. Volcano almost expected them to draw their weapons as soon as they approached, but none did. Still, from what they'd learned about the Hirarians, they were an organized nation. The gods likely knew already that things had not gone as planned by their captain. Whatever lay beyond the gate, the Belenian didn't know. The mighty fence erected with the help of 1,000 hands obscured the entire town, shielding it both from the desert winds and the curious looks. 2 men sat by a table near the entrance playing straws, and on the opposite side, in a small tent, was a woman reading a book. The men looked up from their game, and Volcano said, "We come to talk to Captain Ocaris." "You can't enter the city." "That's fine, we don't have to, but we must talk to your leader." Their answer was simple again. "You can't." Horizon scowled and glanced at Volcano. His thumbs found his index fingers and dug into them in a nervous tick. "You have our children," he said, "and we've come to work something out. So let us in or bring your captain out. Either way, we're not leaving until we talk to him." And the man said, "I apologize, but the captain does not leave the city, nor does he take visitors." "You're not hearing me. I want my son back. I'm not leaving before I have him with me." "I don't think your son is in the city." Horizon looked at Volcano, and gods, she could feel his frustration. It was as if the strongest, most clear message was not reaching these people. "Stop this," she said. "Let us talk." "I'm sorry, but our orders..." The dismissive tone of the man was the last straw for Horizon, who was already on the verge of breaking. He lunged forward. He didn't aim for the man, he aimed for the door. But it didn't matter. The guard pulled out the gun, and the sound of the shot ripped through the air. Volcano screamed before Horizon stopped, before he even realized what had happened. And the guard aimed at her next. It was then that the woman from the tent bolted out, screamed, "No!" and shielded Volcano with her own body, daring the guard to shoot again. Volcano didn't wait. She dashed to Horizon and caught him as he fell over, protecting his head from the hit. "You fucking fool!" the woman from the tent shrieked at the god and tore the gun out of his hand. "They are unarmed!" It was like a grim déjà vu, once more trying to stop the aggression of their guards. Only this time, it was too late. "I panicked," the man said, and only then did Volcano notice how young he was. The protective clothes added a decade. "You panicked." The woman pushed him away. She fell to her knees beside Horizon. "Let me see." Volcano tried to move him away from her, but he was too heavy. She wanted to take him and run, but his eyes were closing. He couldn't do it. He couldn't get up and run. This was the end. This was it. "Please, stop moving him," the woman urged her. "I'm a medic. Let me see the wound." Volcano leaned down and whispered Horizon's name, but he didn't respond. The Hirarian took his head out of Volcano's shaking hands and lay it flat on the ground. The wound was in Horizon's stomach. The blood seeping out of it began to paint a deathly circle over his shirt. "Why did you do this?" Volcano asked. "Why did you do any of this?" The woman looked at her, for just a glance, as if she wanted to say something but had no words to give. Then she focused back on Horizon. She tore his shirt apart and Volcano had to look away. "He will live," the woman said. "He's in shock, but none of his organs are destroyed." Volcano couldn't phrase another sentence. Her mind was spinning. She was trying to focus, but she couldn't. "We need to take him inside. I have to remove the bullet." The medic turned to the two men. "Move it. Help me carry him inside the barricade." They approached and reached for Horizon, and Volcano lunged at them like an angry snake, trying to slap their hands away. "Don't touch him!" The woman pulled her back by her shirt and forced her to face her. "Look at me," she said. "He needs help. Now!" Volcano wanted to scream. She tore her shirt out of the woman's grasp, stepped back, then forth again towards Horizon. "I don't trust you! I don't trust any of you!" "I know," the woman said, calmly, but her quivering lip betrayed that she too was stressed. "But right now, I'm your only option. And I won't let the man bleed out, so you can come with us, or the guards can drag you away. Make your call." What was Volcano to do? How could she protect him? "Please," the woman said, "be reasonable." She couldn't protect him. There was no way he would make it to the western shore to their medics, none. So when the guards stepped forward again and reached for him, Volcano didn't move. Their so-called barricade was a narrow space somewhere between the outer wall and the actual city. It led to a small room with a bed and a shelf with necessities. The woman threw a blanket over the bed, and the man lay Horizon on top of it. She then sent them away, not sparing a few parting insults. She grabbed the disinfectant bottle off the shelf and poured it over her hands. Volcano watched her, trying to convince herself that it was the right thing to do to trust her. Or at least that she had no other choice. Again. They had come here alone like fools. Yet still, even now, no other option seemed any less foolish. "This violence," the Hirarian whispered as she readied herself to extract the bullet. "It's desperation. It pushes us to do things. We are not evil." She looked at Volcano. "We never meant to hurt you. It's taken over people's minds. I swear." She was a skilled medic. She extracted the bullet, she cleaned the wound, she stitched it. Her hands that shook as she was washing them became steady the moment they neared Horizon's stomach. "The plague was decimating our people," she said as she finished. Horizon was unconscious still, but she'd assured Volcano that he would be fine. His breath was even now, his face warm. For months, we watched our close ones wither away as we scrambled to do anything for them and failing to. Every day we would look for symptoms to appear in our parents, our children, our spouses. And then at some point they would. And the morbid countdown would begin, she said. "I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Asteris." Volcano nodded, but she didn't respond. It was hard to feel pity for these people when Horizon lay beside her fighting for his life after they nearly took it away. The algae bloom didn't come from the sea. It appeared in our lakes, inland. Asteris continued. "There was never any in your waters or your blood. And the dust, Well, it's never been about the dust either. What do you mean? Volcano asked. Lies. Most of it. The medic shrugged. She sat down on the bed beside Horizon and hid her face in her hands. The only things that are true is that we're dying. And the cure is on the wreath. In the blood of your children. There is something different about your race. Your blood, to be exact. Ocaris found a way to utilize it to cure the plague, Asteris said. That's what the samples were for. The problem is the magic in the air slowly changes the energy signature of blood, so the longer you're exposed to the world, the less potent it becomes. Hence, children. Their blood. It made no sense. It could not make sense, no. What have you done to them? Where are they? I don't know. I'm sorry, I truly do not. Only the captain does. Are they alive? How much blood? They must be. He wouldn't have given you the deal otherwise. Volcano fell back against the wall. Suddenly the density of the air in this little stuffy room became unbearable. She tried to breathe, but her nose wasn't enough. It was suffocating. Calm down, you must calm down. I don't understand, she said. Why the deceit? Why couldn't you tell us? We could have tried to help you. You have... Volcano pressed a hand over her mouth. Her fingers were icy cold. Asteris exhaled and looked up. I don't know. Desperation, I suppose. Ocaris hates risk. He puts his people first and gives little concern to anyone else. I respect that, but not this time. What he did was atrocious. You're absolutely right. This should have been done peacefully. We should have tried. Was there ever any science camp? No, the children never left for the island. But the researchers took good care of them. I know that much, she rushed to say. We are not evil. We're normal people. We're just... Please believe me, she said. Imagine if the disease came for your kin. Oh, but it has. You are here. Well deserved. Asteris nodded. But please, I told you everything I know. Please, let's work something out. It's not too late. Work what out? Are you insane? You've kidnapped our children. You've bled them, haven't you? You've bled them? You refused to bring them back? And now you're asking to talk. Are you hearing yourself? I know how it sounds, but... But what? Volcano pushed herself off the wall and stepped towards the woman. Where are the children? Return them, and perhaps then we will talk. Ocaris won't do it unless you take his deal. Volcano couldn't comprehend it. What was wrong with these people? This was lunacy. Absolutely not. You need our help. Asteris tossed away the tool she was still holding and stood up to face Volcano. And she said, Don't you understand? We don't. Ocaris can do whatever he wants. There is nothing you have that could stop him, nothing. And this isn't a threat. This is me begging you to help me prevent further tragedies. By giving our children to you? Volcano said quietly. Do you see what you've done to us? You've made us feel guilty for protecting our kids. You make us feel like we are responsible for whatever tragedies you speak of. It is what it is. Ocaris will not give those children back for free. Volcano replied, None of us will give you ours. Asteris opened her arms in a gesture somewhere between welcoming and complete helplessness. Look, I think we can do this a different way. I think we don't have to take them away for weeks. Bring your daughter to me here, and I'll make sure she returns home with you the same day. No. He will start taking your children, and they will not come back. Unless you do this, and I can make sure your daughter is off the list. And same for any other child that comes here. It was the most ludicrous thing to even consider bargaining here with this woman. But Volcano couldn't forget about the kids that were already taken. Sedar among them. She looked to the unconscious horizon lying on the bed, and the thought of telling him that there was nothing, it made her sick. So she asked once more, And the ones you already have? Will you bring them back? That is not up to me. This is all I can promise. Then you're out of your mind. Forget it. We'll figure something out. And if you meant anything about being sorry or thinking that what your captain does is atrocious, you will not stand in our way. Will you? Asteris met Volcano's eyes. It doesn't matter what I do, she said. I beg you, please, don't put Ocaris under a wall. Because then it will be too late.